Britain is being invaded by illegal immigrants. 1,200 illegals arrived on Saturday alone. Where are all the women and children? Drink that front page in, everybody. Where are they? Where are they? Where are all the women and children? We've had 14,600 arrivals so far this year. We are on for 50,000 Channel migrants this year. Each one is reportedly going to cost us around 40 grand a year. So that's about 2 billion quid of your money, I think, and the rest. The French are doing nothing, OK? We've paid them £500 million to stand on the beaches and wave them off. We know they've got patrol boats waiting just offshore to carry these illegal migrants into British waters. We're now at the Plage de Gravelines, and we've been told by local authorities that the boat that you're looking at there, in the smaller one in the distance, is a French patrol boat. So they have all morning been zipping up and down this coastline, waiting for boats like the one that we just saw further up this river to come down. Sir Keir Starmer has just given the French more access to UK fishing waters for the next 12 years. And this is how they treat us. The only boats they've stopped are this one.
A humble fishing vessel from Eastbourne in East Sussex, nabbed by the French Navy, and now sitting stricken in the port of Boulogne in France.
Yeah, a British fishing boat. And all our Home Secretary Yvette Cooper can say is that the French are going to stop the boats in the water.
France has now agreed that they will now start to intervene in French waters in order to prevent small boats.
When's that starting, Ms Cooper? Or is that a lie? Our own Defence Minister, John Healey, said this over the weekend.
The truth is, Britain's lost control of its borders over the last 5 years.
Great. The Prime Minister just keeps talking in completely and utterly pointless sound bites.
I want to be really clear, nobody should be making that journey across the Channel, and it's our duty to make sure that we ensure that they don't. We are working very closely with our counterparts in France and elsewhere to take further action in northern France, and of course we are giving enhanced powers to our own law enforcement through the Borders Bill, which is currently going through Parliament.
How much of that do you believe, roughly? All he does is get a member of his staff to put stuff like this on Twitter. You have every right to be angry about small boat crossings. I'm angry too. We're ramping up our efforts to smash the people smuggling gangs at source. Hundreds of boats and engines seized. Illegal working raids up. Almost 30,000 people returned. Even in that statement, he can't be entirely honest. Most of those returns have been voluntary, and it's not clear if a single one of them has been a Channel migrant. It's time to declare a national emergency. Get the Navy in the Channel and stop the French fishing in our waters until they bother to stop some boats. Let's get towards my panel. We have got journalist and broadcaster Carol Malone, former Tory chairman Sir Jake Berry, and former Labour Party advisor Scarlett Maguire. OK, look, this is getting... I mean, it got ridiculous a while ago, but it's actually getting unbelievable now. 1,200, mostly young men, coming across in a single day on Saturday. The Prime Minister has lost the plot, if he thinks anything's being done about it. The French are now behaving, in my view, like our enemies, Carol.
Yeah, they are. But, I want to be a bit controversial and say, it is not up to the French to control our borders. It is up to us to control our borders. Yes, we have done a deal with them to stop migrants. They're clearly not doing it. We've seen the guards standing on the beach smoking as they're going away. But forget all of that. We should be doing something proactive ourselves. The only way we're going to stop them is by turning them back, turning them round and sending them straight back to France. And if we did that with every lot that came, they're not going to spend another €3,000 to get over here. But we are doing nothing. We are blaming the French and saying how terrible they are. We have got to be more proactive. He destroyed the only deterrent we had, which was Rwanda, which now he's trying to strike another deal with Eastern Europe, which is never going to work because it's to look after people who are failed asylum seekers. So they'll be here for 5 years claiming benefits. Can I just say something quickly before I think? Denmark has introduced an amazing system. They had 784 asylum seekers last year. That is all. It took successful applications. Why? Because they stopped all benefits. They actually they penalise them twice, double punishments for crime. They take all their possessions off them when they come to this country to pay for their accommodation here. And then if they fail their asylum claim, all benefits are stopped.
Yeah.
Why aren't we doing something like that? Because it works.
We've now, if we didn't before, we now have serious leverage over the French. They have secured access, increased access to our fishing waters for 12 more years. If they want to keep that, then they can stop more of the boats for the £500 million.
If only you were right. We have zero leverage over the French because we've given away that for 12 years. It's a treaty, it's binding, we can't take it back. We have given them £500 million. We can't ask for our money back. It is gone. We have had a government that has surrendered to the French state, whether it's over fishing, whether it's over small boats. They have given it all away for naught. We are getting nothing. And people will only stop coming in small boats when Britain, as Carol says, gets serious about it. The minute they arrive on the beaches in the UK, they should be immediately arrested. They shouldn't be housed. They shouldn't be put into hotels in your local town or terraced houses in your town. They should be put in a detention camp and immediately processed. And if their asylum fails, they should be deported back to France. My view is that there's no such thing as an asylum seeker from France, because the definition of asylum seeker is fleeing persecution. Millions of Brits go on holiday to France every year. What's so bad about it? What are they running away from?
Yeah, Scott, when Yvette Cooper says that the French have agreed to get the boats, to take the boats out of the shallow water. So either she's lying or the French are lying to her. Which one is it?
I have no idea. What I do know is that actually at the moment the French are stopping about a third of the boats, right? That's...
No, not true. On Saturday, nearly 1,200 came, they stopped 184.
OK,
that's not 30%.
So that was Saturday, right? But
no, it's not, Scott. That figure is absolutely wrong.
Well,
they're not stopping.
This is a figure I got from the Daily Telegraph, right? The Daily Telegraph says that the percentages have gone down probably because there are more people coming up. I've always said, I've said on this programme for years, that what we should do is the whole point is to process and send them away, right? And why Keir Starmer is talking about somewhere in Eastern Europe is because there is a real problem that you cannot send people back to places like Sudan, like Eritrea, like Yemen.
Yes, and because of the person...
But we could have sent them to Rwanda.
But Rwanda, which has got one of the fastest growing economies in Africa, very sophisticated place now. It's not what it was 33 years ago. It's a different place now. It was all set up and ready to go. And stupid Starmer, one of the first things he did when he got to down is it would scrap it. Why? So he could stick up two fingers at the Tories.
No,
stupid.
No, actually, the thing about Rwanda was it was anybody coming in. I had a young woman staying at my house who was supposed to go to Rwanda. She was a Christian who was on the run from Eritrea. Her parents had been jailed since she hadn't seen them for 15 years. Right, she came over here and we were going to send her back to Rwanda. She was a refugee.
We're not talking about people like her.
She was going to be sent to Rwanda.
But this is the argument that a lot of people make. This is the argument that people make when they talk about wanting to reduce or not wanting to introduce immigration. Well, my dad came over, didn't he? And he worked in the NHS. And then my mum was a teacher. Right, we're not talking about those people. We're talking about people who, unfortunately, and this has happened, have raped schoolgirls on the back of buses. We're talking about people who've gone to commit murders. We're talking about people, all those people. And the fact is, when they come over on boats, we don't know which one they are.
They don't know who they are. We don't know what they're a threat to this country. We don't know if they're going to kill people.
That's fine, Carol. What I'm trying to say is...
Well, we're all entitled to say something, Scholar, so you crack on. Go on.
What I'm saying is that what we need to do is we need to process them very fast, right? You don't send them back to France because France won't take them.
Well, stop saying that because the Tories had years to process them fast and Labour have had a year to process them fast and they're not doing it.
Joe, we are... This is now unequivocally a national emergency.
Of course. Look, you are not... If you don't control your borders... What do you have? You are not a sovereign nation. The very definition of being sovereign is to have a sovereign territory which you can defend. We are in a position, admitted to, in a moment of honesty, actually, by John Healey, the Defence Secretary. I really applaud him for being honest enough to say it. Over the weekend, the man who's in charge of national defence threw his arms in the air and said, look, guys, we've lost control of this. If that is not a call to arms to have a national emergency about this. I don't know what
but
is.
we are
Come on,
getting-
Starmer.
we don't
Open
have-
your ears, start
This
listening.
government doesn't have the guts or the will to do what's necessary. It doesn't have the guts to do what Denmark has done it, and they've been really tough, and they've slashed their immigration in less than half in 1 year.
Can I tell you what it looks like, Scott? I'll get your response to this. Over the weekend, it looked like Britain was being invaded by men from the Middle East and Africa, and it looks as though our Prime Minister doesn't care about that.
Oh, well, I mean, that's just obviously not true. I mean, the point
Which
is
bit?
that we've got to stop them coming, right? There's absolutely no question that the boats have got to stop. If they say that they're just, I mean, literally they have to destroy the boats, right? That's what the French should be doing, is they should be finding the boats, and we
I
should
think
be...
it's ridiculous, just logically speaking, right? Just logically speaking. Do you not think it's a little bit weird that the full might of the European intelligence services and MI6 can't stop people manufacturing boats and then delivering them to northern France? Do you not find that a bit suspect?
I think
Make that almost, it's almost like it looks a bit deliberate. Do you know what I
I
think?
do not think it's deliberate. I do not think it's deliberate.
So those guys, those policemen standing on the beach on Saturday smoking and taking photographs of the people taking off illegally, why aren't they armed with a weapon to just
do you know
puncture
what,
all
Carol,
of those
if I
boats
was-
so they can't sail?
If I was French, I'd be applauding those police
course you-
officers.
of course you
If it
would.
was in
Yeah,
Britain,
I
I'd be
would.
going,
Of course you would.
good job, guys and girls.
Get rid of them.
Let them go,
Yeah,
let them
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That is what
Yeah.
they're doing. We are becoming a
Yeah.
dumping ground for the entirety of
Yeah.
Europe to send refugees to this country. They are complicit. They may as well work for the people
But it is our fault,
and the
Jake.
government is paying them £500 million
But it's this
to make us a
government's
dumping
fault
ground.
for depending on France to control our borders. It's not France's job, it's
Correct.
ours.
It's the government's job.
But I think we have to understand that most of the people who come across the Mediterranean,
Okay, go on. Are you going to say are genuine asylum seekers?
I was going to say, do not get to Britain.
Right.
They stay in Italy, they stay in Germany, they stay in France,
Yes,
they stay
but
in
this
Greece.
is another point.
A very, very
But this
small
is another
proportion.
point.
It's not a dumping
the
ground.
people, well, it is actually.
It
It's
is.
dumping ground for the dregs of the people because they're the people who have, for whatever reason, either not been allowed or not managed to find a life for themselves in some cases 7, 8 or 9 other countries. And they end up coming to us. To quote Donald Trump, they're not sending their best, are they?
Well, actually, I think you're wrong. I think the people. I do not understand why they're so determined to come over to us. But I remember.
You don't
Because
know?
we let 'em, because we give them everything.
We don't give
We
them.
give
We
them
don't.
everything.
We don't. They live.
£1 benefits, 4-star hotel.
They live horrible lives.
No, they don't.
Oh, are you kidding?
Well, I probably know more about it than you, Carol, because I
do
actually.
you? How is that? You've had a couple in your house.
No, because I've had them. I've had a lot more than a couple in my
Please,
house.
Scarlett.
Right?
Come on. They're living the life in hotels that a lot of British people can't afford to go on holiday into.
well,
They can't afford to stay in a 4-star hotel.
Go on. Go
Well,
on.
I really don't understand, and I do say to them, what's so special about Britain, right?
Yeah.
Because actually, they do not want benefits. What they want to do is they want to work, they want to have a new life. Now, I'm not saying they should come.
Let's rephrase that. They want us to give them a job.
No,
That's what it is.
And a house.
Yes, and a house.
that's
If you
the
wanted,
difference.
And
if-
free
look, this
healthcare.
is what I hope Keir Starmer and his team will think about. If you wanted to design a system to destroy a country, you would design one that had a tax rate that was so high that all the wealthy people left, and a benefit rate that was so high that people came from all over the world to claim your benefits. They are destroying Britain, and we have to do something about it.
I absolutely disagree.
I am becoming increasingly of the view that there is something very sinister and deliberate going on here. Having been there myself and seen how easily stoppable this thing could be, on the camps that I went to that were on the beachfront, there was not a single fence between those camps and the beach, right? So for £1 billion, it gets you absolutely naff all. There was a warehouse full of Sudanese men that were just hanging out by a lorry park. I mean, you literally could have thrown a net over that warehouse and taken them somewhere else. The French have made no attempt to do that whatsoever. We are being ripped off. And then you look at the idea now that we've got these people who are just able... You've got the RNLI over the weekend, apparently
Getting
sent
fishing
out
boats
calls for
and sent
fishing
fishing
boats and
boats
for other
to
boats.
come and bring them in,
to go-
yes.
If you were a kayaker or a pleasure cruiser who was in distress over the weekend, which you may well have been because it was good weather, you might not have been seen to because our RNLI, which you might have donated to, were picking illegal immigrants out of the
Just
channel.
like they
idea we should be-
diverted the Dunkirk flotilla.
Yes,
to
exactly,
allow an
the other
asylum
week.
seeker
The
back.
only deal we should be doing with the French is to turn everyone back who gets here and send them back. Why aren't we doing that deal?
The French
for money
won't
they're
take
getting?
them.
The French won't take
The
them.
French won't take them. That's just the French won't
Right,
take
okay.
them. They don't
So why
have
are
to
we
take
paying
them.
Why aren't we just
We're
doing
paying
what we
them
need to do?
We're weak.
Why
Go on,
don't we?
what do you
'cause
think?
Well, because according to the Daily Telegraph, right, the French stop about. They used to stop about 45%, and they're now stopping just under under
They're getting paid
40%.
more money and they're
So
stopping
it's now
fewer
going.
people.
Well, the more that we pay them, then it's
No,
going down.
we don't know in terms of numbers. I mean, we don't. What I'm talking about is percentages.
I just think if Keir Starmer was telling the truth, Sir Keir Starmer was telling the truth about how much he's really angry about this, why doesn't he go to Calais and have a look at it himself?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he just go there,
never seen
dead
him.
easy,
Yeah.
you get on the Eurotunnel, you're over in less than an hour, you're off the other side, you turn left off the Eurotunnel and you drive for about 12 minutes and you're in a migrant camp.
Well, if
Go and have a look at it, you know?
Yvette Cooper has been there. She knows the problem. She's
doing nothing.
And they're trying to deal with
The biggest problem apparently we have in this country is that when you go to France, you can't use the e-gates.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's why we've given the fishing away. It's like, that's the biggest problem. Now I'm worried about 1,200 people a day arriving in
How many gangs has
France.
Starmer smashed over?
Well, that's one question.